low cap altcoins with 100x potential to buy before altcoin season. Somehow there's people out there that don't think altcoin season is even happening this cycle. To be fair to them, it has taken longer than usual. But if you think about it, it's actually a good thing because we get more time to buy low cap altcoins before altcoin season. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, I want to talk about a little altcoin called Extra Finance. Now, Extra Finance, I'm going to get into the market cap and all that stuff a little bit later in the video, but I first want to talk about what Extra Finance actually does, right? Extra Finance is a leading and leveraged liquidity provisioning protocol. Now, they have the farming side of it, and they have the excellent side, and they have the TVL here, which is actually at $111 million. And I'm going to talk about the arbitrage that is available here, which I'm going to tell you is massive. So please stick around for that. Now, obviously built on the base chain. I literally just dropped a video about that. If you haven't seen it, after this video, go and watch that. It's the last video I dropped about all the reasons why the base chain and Coinbase is the best opportunity in crypto, bar none. Go watch that video if you disagree with me. And if you agree with me, you're going to love this video even more. It's going to put a nail in the hammer on your convictions, and it's going to solidify all your convictions. So go and watch that video. But anyways, we can talk about some of the assets that are actually available to gain yield on and farm on this website, which we talked about Moonwell all the time. USDC, which is a stable coin, obviously, and Kita, which is a newer one that I talked about. A lot of crypto influencers were talking about Kita specifically. I'm not really that big on Kita, but go do your own research. You may find something that you like about it, but you got to do your own research. Anyways, a lot of the ecosystem partners with XtraFi, Optimism, Base, Layer 0, Chainlink, OKX, some massive names just to start: Velodrome, Aerodrome, PancakeSwap, Ether.fi, right? These are some of the biggest names in crypto, period, and they're partnered up with the XtraFi token. Now, we can also do leveraged farming, which I'm going to get into, right? Long, short, neutral, that's all pretty basic stuff. And they just pretty much talk about a bit how their LP work as far as rebalancing. I'm not going to spend too much time on this page. You can go and do this research for yourself because it is a lot to get through, but auto compounding as well. So a lot of the rewards that you earn through providing liquidity on the platform, you can just auto compound that. Your auto rebalancing probably, if I had to take a wild guess, is there to make sure that you stay in range when providing liquidity. And if you guys don't know what LPs is, I'm not going to explain it in this video. I've talked about LPs a lot in the past in other videos. I have a LP video. I'll probably leave it up on screen if you want to see some of the positions that I used to hold. I don't hold those positions anymore. Those were over a year ago, but they made me a good amount of money in that time. If you go down here a little bit lower on the site, you can see as well here, again, some of the assets that you can provide. Now, this is Coinbase's BTC, right? So you can actually have Coinbase's BTC on the XtraFi platform. Not a lot, 1.1 million, but I want to see this number grow, obviously. And you can see Aerodrome is big on this site as well. Ethereum, of course, as well. Now, one thing that I love is the audits. This gives me an extra sense of security when trading or using any particular platform, or when I connect my wallet to any particular platform, just to know I'm not going to get rugged, or my wallet isn't going to get compromised, things like that, or that the XtraFi token isn't going to go to literally zero, right? So PEC Shield, Sherlock, and BlockSec on there, and they have a bug bounty program, which, if you don't know what a bug bounty program is if you have any, there's a reward out, and if you find any bugs, you gain that award. A lot of times it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So this is actually worth your while if you're somebody who is a techie guy and you want to go find some bugs. There is your opportunity. I am not that guy. I'm not super techie, but some could argue that I am because I'm in crypto and I have a really good knowledge base, but you know, to each his own. That's for you to decide. Now, of course, as promised, you can look here on the base chain. I'm not going to do bear chain. That's in beta. And Optimism I'm not going to do as well because I want to focus on the base chain. And if you watch the last video after this, you'll understand why. Don't leave the video. Don't click off, but you'll understand why. Anyways, look at this. USDC and an Arrow pair right now is earning 53% APY. If you don't know, that's over the course of this year. So if you were to provide liquidity, right, or farm USDC and Arrow right now, you'd be earning 53% on your money in a year. Now, let me mind you, this fluctuates, and this is also, right? This is also at 4x leverage as well. Like if you want to know the real APY, and you go down all the way to like 1%, there you can see it there. Look, still 23%, which is actually still really, really good, right? Really, really good. If you go down on the leverage side, if you want to do something like virtual, that's still earning 15%. If you wanted to do wrapped ETH and Moonwell, right, and it wasn't on any leverage, and you just want to throw your money there for a year, you'd be earning something like just under 28%. Now, if you go down the site, you can find plenty of opportunities, and you can go and start farming, as you can see here, right? These are all things that I do, and this is a lot of things that you need to do if you want to be making money as the year goes on. Because one thing I've realized with trading liquidity over the past couple of years is that it doesn't matter if it's a bear market, it doesn't matter if it's a bull market, you're going to be able to make money 12 months out the year providing liquidity and farming, right? Yield farming, because you're constantly earning tokens every single day. And if you're compounding those, like there's strategies to that as well, right? But if you're compounding, you can also have the potential to earn a lot more while providing LP and yield farming. I will also say, if you don't know what you're doing, don't just throw money in any of these pools. Start with maybe like $50, $100, something you're okay with losing, and learn how these things work. Do your research before you jump right in. Don't just jump in and think you're about to make 23% APR, right, per year. There's a lot of risk that comes with LP providing it and yield farming, so you have to be aware of those risks. I'm not going to get into it because this is an LP video. This is not an LP video. But anyways, now to get into a little bit more of Extra Finance, because this is the low cap altcoin that I was talking about. Their market cap is currently at $7.35 million in market cap. Now, quickly, I just want to give you a little bit of a potential for Extra Finance's price appreciations, because in my book, and people in my community, in our community, they know this already, right? When it comes to market cap value and total value locked, I like to see that at a 1-for-1. I feel like total value locked, which you can see up here, Extra Finance is at 120 million in terms of DeFi and Llama. Extra Finance site, they said it was 111 million. Whatever, they're probably not aggregating the data quick enough. But the point is that this is the true signifier of how much value is in a protocol, because this is actually how much money, how much real crypto is sitting on this platform right now. So the fact that Extra Finance is only sitting at a $7.35 million market cap. So we're going to do some quick moon math on the potential of where Extra Finance's price could go. So we're going to take the total value locked, which is 120 million. And we're going to 120 million divided by, I think it was 7.53 million. So 7.3, and we're going to do 7.3. There we go. Equals just under a 16x if you just wanted to be on par with total value locked to the market cap, which is obviously the value in price of a token, right? Now, I want to make something very aware to you. At the height of altcoin season in 2021, right, leaking into 2022, there are a bunch of BS tokens out there that had billions of dollars in total value locked. One of them being Wonderland Memories. I don't know if anyone remembers that token. Maybe do your research on YouTube or something and figure out what's going on back then. But Wonderland Memories was a complete and utter Ponzi scheme that had over $1 billion locked in TVL, and the market cap was astronomical. So the fact that something like that could pump to those levels, right, based off of just vaporware, complete vaporware, where you have something like Extra Finance, which is real utility, only sitting at a $7.3 million market cap. So I did 7.5, shoot. So it probably is a 16x, right? And it's sitting over at 120 million total value lock. The arbitrage here is just outstanding. And this is why I brought it to you today. Now, I've talked about extra finance. This is not the first time I'm talking about it, but I wanted to refresh your memory and bring it back to you because there's a lot of the lower cap altcoins that I haven't talked about in a long time that I'm going to start bringing back on this channel because I know a lot of you have been asking for it over the past couple of months. So I don't want to act like I've just forgotten about these tokens. I'm going to make videos for them. We're going to pump those out slowly, and you'll get to see a lot of updates on some of your favorite altcoins I've talked about on this channel before. So subscribe for that. Subscribe because these are going to be exciting times, okay? So I need you guys to understand something. Now, Extra Finance is an extremely small market cap token. You have to understand two things if you're going to invest in XtraFi, okay? Number one, that XtraFi is not going to pop until altcoin season, and this is the very end of the crypto market cycle. You can see down here, low caps, micro caps. This is where XtraFi lies, and this is where it's going to pump, right, the hardest. So when we hit the bottom of the market cycle, you're going to first have Bitcoin, right? All the money's going to flow into Bitcoin off the bottom. Then you're going to get money that flows into ETH, which is arguably where we're at right now, or where we've been over the past couple months. Then you're going to have money flow into your large caps. These are your chain links, your SUIs, your hyperliquids, your polygons, your polka dots, so on and so forth. And then money is going to flow into your mid caps and especially your low caps and micro caps. And this is what we call altcoin season. Now, altcoin season is usually around, the most parabolic times for altcoin season is around 2 to 3 months at the very, very end of the cycle, okay? But generally, you start to see altcoins pump a lot, very, very hard from the 6th month to the 8th month mark, right? That's like the last months of the bull market cycle. Now, you can kind of see this here on the quizzes on CoinGecko, by the way, if you didn't know, and you can kind of look at the different asset classes and the way they have risen over the past 7 days or past 30 days or past year or so. You can see Ethereum getting close to all-time highs. You can see XRP cracking $3 as well. BNB cracked $1,000, which is crazy. So you can start to see Solana hit close to all-time highs, if not all-time highs. So you're seeing the rotation into these larger caps now. So there is going to come a point where these larger caps go absolutely parabolic, right? Including Ethereum. And then you're going to see a rotation into a lot of the mid to low caps, which some of these aren't even on this 100 coin list, right? You have to keep that in these top 100 coin lists. You have to keep that in mind. A lot of these are the tokens that I talk about on this channel. Some of them, obviously not. I talk about larger caps as well. Like I like to look at Ondo and Chainlink as some of the larger cap plays. Airdrome getting very close to that level, if not there already, depending how you look at it and compare crypto market to the stock market. But regardless of that fact, you have to be patient is the point I'm trying to make. That's the second point. You don't want to get caught holding your pants or thinking that these gains are going to come in the next couple of weeks to even couple of months. You have to understand that if you're going to buy something like Extra Finance, you're going to have to wait a lot longer, right? You're going to have to wait 5, 6, 7 months to see that parabolic action and to see it potentially pass its TVL, right? Now, of course, something else that you want to be looking at when looking at low cap altcoins is where are we in the cycle? Because right now, as you can see here, detailed out by the dark blue line, this is where altcoin season is on the altcoin season index, right? And we're currently still at 67. So until we get up to I think it's the 70 point mark, let's just see, the 75 point mark, technically we're still not even in an altcoin season. So how could you be expecting these micro caps and these low caps to pump just yet when we're not even in an altcoin season? Bitcoin dominance is still at 58%. Until we get sub 45 to around 40% on Bitcoin dominance, you should not be expecting altcoin season, and you should not be expecting these lower cap altcoins to pump. If you are, then you need to, like I said, then again, wait. You just need to be a little more patient, and the fruits of your labor will definitely pay off. Now, this is something interesting that I wanted to point out to you quickly about Extra Finance and the fact that it has $112 million locked in TVL. And the reason why this is interesting is because there's only 11 protocols on the base network with a higher TVL locked in their platform. The key differences, though, is that if we go onto CoinGecko and type in XtraFi, right? Oh, let me go back a few. Extra Finance. You can see that we're only at a 7.4 million market cap. If you look at something like Morpho, for example, to compare it to, which is also another token that I love, is at $646 million in market cap. That's almost 100x higher, 80 to 90x higher, and they have $7.7 billion locked in TVL, right? If we go back on, we type in Seamless, right? Seamless is another one on the base chain. If we look at their protocol, they currently have $105 million, and they're staying at double the price of XtraFi. That's an easy 2x. Let's go back over. If you're looking at something like Moonwell, right, for example, or Spark, and these are some of the other tokens that I talk about a lot on this channel. Moonwell, you can go and see that they are sitting at a $100 million market cap, right? That's still like a 13x as far as arbitrage between Moonwell and XtraFi's market cap. And they have over $200 million locked in TVL, right? So you can see there's a lot of tokens. I'm not going to go through every token on this list, but there's a lot of tokens ahead of Extra Finance that have similar or comparable TVLs, right, compared to Extra Finance. And the market cap is so much lower than a lot of these other projects, right? It's actually, a lot of the TVLs is damn near, look, $5 million in TVL off from Seamless, and they're twice the market cap at the moment. Moonwell, about maybe 2x higher, like we saw in TVL, but in price, we're about 13x higher, right? So that's a massive, massive level of arbitrage. And a lot of these tokens on here don't have even close the amount of TVL as XtraFi, but are far higher in market cap. So these are some of the things that you got to look at to find these bets and find these early opportunities and find these arbitrage so you can make a lot of money in crypto, right? This is how you do it. This is how you do the research to set yourself up for success, right? And to find these low cap altcoins. So just know that it's going to take an altcoin season to see that 100x, but an 100x is very possible, because if you even open up the calculator again and you go to something like XtraFi was at $3.5 million market cap, right? And you multiply that by 100, you only have to get to a $735 million market cap. That's it to get 100x. That's not unreasonable to think, considering where some of these other market caps have sat at late last year when we were pumping in the markets, right? I think Moonwell got up to like a $386 million market cap or something like that. So you have to expect that like a bare minimum of 50x. And that's that. I don't even believe that's going to happen. Like, not financial advice, do your own research, but 100x for a play like XtraFi is a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer. Now, the next altcoin, the next low cap altcoin that I want to talk about is Centrifuge. Now, a few videos ago, I promised I'd be talking about it. So here I am talking about it. Now, the leading platform for tokenized financial products, right? Real world asset tokenization. Do I have to talk to you still about where the world's going and how focused most of these financial institutions are on RWA projects and tokenization? At this point, I don't think I have to explain it to you. And Centrifuge is tapping into this market as well, right? So $1.1 billion are the total amount of assets financed by Centrifuge. This isn't a large number, but it's getting there. The assets tokenized on this platform is over 1,700, which is that's very juicy. I like that a lot. They're also working with Morpho, Base, Block Tower, Circle, Sky, Aave as well. And why even invest in Centrifuge, right? Centrifuge provides the infrastructure and ecosystem to seamlessly tokenize and manage a diversified group of real-world assets. The Centrifuge technology supports any issuer, asset, or any use case with a seamless user experience, real-time data. They're probably using Chainlink for this, which is another altcoin gem if you haven't bought yet. Don't know what you're doing, to be honest. Tokenize your fund with Centrifuge, and we're actually going to get into this a little deeper, so I'm not going to talk about this right now, because we're in just a moment I'm going to talk about this. And access tokenized assets, which we already know what those are. Okay, so the chance to make big money with Centrifuge is there. If the growth continues on this platform, you'll see the price and the market cap go a lot higher, which we are also going to talk about in just a moment. Now, the level of TVL from one of the funds that they have, Janus Henderson. I don't know what treasury fund this is, but they hold a treasury fund on Centrifuge. They have over just under $350 million locked in USD and TVL. They also have a whole another fund with just under $800 million locked in TVL. And this is the bulk of the TVL on Centrifuge as of literally today. $0.1 billion locked in TVL. And I'm going to get into the price, like I said, and the arbitrage that is in front of us in terms of a token like Centrifuge. Now, let's not get it confused, right? Tell me I don't bring these altcoins early, man. Like, look, $179 million in market cap, and they have over $1.14 billion locked in TVL. Easy 9x as far as that 1-for-1 fair market cap and TVL locked. And if you look over the course of the past couple of years, they've pretty much had nothing, and all of a sudden in 2025 they had a big spike in user base and the amount of TVL locked on their token. Now it's primarily coming from one fund manager at this moment, so I'd like to see that increase, and that is one of the risks of investing in Centrifuge, and why I think that $179 million market cap size is kind of justified at the moment, even though they have $1.1 billion locked in TVL. I'd like to see them diversify the amount of clients that they have on their platform, and until we see that, I can't confidently say that this is 100x, but because I know where RWAs are going this cycle and where the world of finance is going in the future with crypto, Centrifuge is set up to be one of those dominant players. So the potential for this to be a 100x is very, very, very high. Now, this is rwa.xyz. This is pretty much an all-encompassing website where they aggregate all the RWA data that you would ever need, and they put it in one place. So if you haven't used the site or haven't seen it, I suggest you go and check it out. Very, very useful. Now, to understand something, and this is why I brought you this video today, Centrifuge is sitting at fifth overall as far as TVL locked across all RWA platforms at the moment, right? Securitize is up there at the top. I don't think they have a token yet. Tradable as well. I don't think they have a token yet. Ondo Finance, which is another big play for me. This is one of the platforms that I personally talked about last year in my altcoin portfolio video, the one that I say just copy me. You can go watch it. I'm going to make an update, by the way, on that video and talk about the altcoins I talked about back in December of last year on that altcoin portfolio video. So subscribe to this channel and leave a like on this video if you want that, okay? So subscribe and like, or else you're going to miss it, okay? Now, you got to look over here at Centrifuge. They have $1.1 billion. Remember what I told you? They only have one fund manager at the moment, but even though they only have one fund manager on their platform at the moment, they still have TVL size comparable to some much larger projects. Like Ondo is sitting at $3 billion in market cap, and they only have $600 million more in locked TVL. So obviously I do, if I'm being completely honest, I do think that I like Ondo's platform a lot better. They have a lot more partners. I just like the fact that Ondo is one of the first to the game as well. They're a first mover in the space. So I think that having tokenized stocks on Ondo is a big deal as well. And the fact that they're able to roll that out so fast, I think that's why they deserve to have the TVL and the market cap that they do have. But it still doesn't go without saying that Centrifuge isn't too far behind, and they are much, much, much smaller in market cap size. So I definitely I expect to see that catch up. And to prove what I'm saying, you can actually look on the site here as well. The RWA count for the platform on Ondo is 105. Centrifuge is sitting at 3. Like, they got to pick that number up, man. They got to pick that number up if they want to be comparable to a site like Ondo. And honestly, it's only going to take getting more people to join the platform, right, and use Centrifuge. It's all it's going to take, but the potential is there, right? So not without risk, but the potential is definitely there. Now, something else that I want you to keep your eye on about Centrifuge is the growth in TVL, which so far has been growing after they got their first massive client, right? We already talked about that, so I'm not going to dive into it. But I also want to talk about the token holder growth, which is good, right? The amount of holders has continuously grown. Now, not drastically, because they started off with under 1,000 in June, and now you can see that the token holder growth has grown over to just under 5,000. So Nothing crazy, and they have over 7,800 unique addresses as well. And I'm using Dune Analytics, by the way, if you want to come check this out for yourself. But this is something else I also want to see continue to grow. The amount of addresses continue to grow, and the amount of token holders, right? They need to gobble up a stronger market share. And I think once they start to get more clients on their platform, you'll definitely start to see these metrics continue to rise, which is obviously a good thing for the long-term health and growth of a project like Centrifuge. Now, I'm on Centrifuge's website, and I probably talk about Morpho like 5-6 times a video. I hope you're not sick of it yet, because if it's understated how much I love this token. But anyways, Morpho has something to say about Centrifuge, so I'm going to read it out for you. The Morpho and Centrifuge integration exemplifies the best our industry has to offer. It successfully combines all of the technologies that we've been working on for years to bring together: real-world assets, decentralized lending, on-chain identity, smart accounts, and open risk curation. It really is the future of finance. So understanding that Morpho, one of the standout projects in crypto, working with Coinbase, is the underlying layer for all of the BTC that's gaining yield on the Coinbase app, is coming all through Morpho, right? That's a big one people don't really understand or don't see yet, but will soon catch on, right? So leave a comment if you're here and you're invested in Morpho. Leave a comment in the comment section down below if you were here, because boy, a lot of people are going to probably come back on this video and be like, damn, like I should have listened to this random guy on the internet about my investments. Not financial advice, of course, but anyways, looking at Morpho here, those are pretty big words from a project like Morpho. So I expect to see the growth of Centrifuge in the finance space. I expect to see it continue to grow for sure. Now, one thing that a lot of projects don't have is good social media engagement, which I can definitely attest to. If you go out there and look at it, you can see for yourself. So on the X platform, they have 87.5K followers. That's actually not bad. They've been around for a while, so in terms of that, that's not that good, but nobody cared about RWAs back in 2018. So 87.5K isn't the worst thing in the world. It's also not the best thing. I'd also like to see that get up. I feel like Centrifuge is one of those projects that when they start to get a bit of buzz, they'll be out of here. But anyways, altcoin season. This is why we wait for altcoin season. Anyways, so on some of the posts, you can see if I scroll down here, 89K views, which is pretty good. This is obviously a pinned comment, so it's not indicative of what they actually post over a period of time. But if you look at just last year in April, they had 243,000 views on their X post and 921 likes. You can also scroll down here. They have a pretty good ratio as far as followers to view count to likes, retweets, comments, things like that, which you don't see often from a lot of platforms. So that's good to see, because there's a lot of platforms out there that have terrible social media engagement, and Centrifuge is not one of them. Now, I want to get into a bit of the price and where you can look to pick up Centrifuge at. Now, I know Bitcoin pumped like heck today, so to find a good buy entry on Centrifuge is going to be tough. Now, I also want to mention that this token did migrate recently, so that's why the chart looks so healthy. It didn't always look like this. I want to make that very, very clear. This is a new contract address, right? And this is obviously on Ethereum, as you can see right here. So I just want to be transparent about that part, because you know how I feel about projects that migrate their tokens. It's because they're kind of like trying to hide their previous price history to make it look good for new investors that are coming in, especially when we're going into the most parabolic part of the cycle. So they want to make sure their chart looks healthy, so that's more of attractive for new investors that don't know anything about Centrifuge to invest in Centrifuge, right? So I am going to do this live, and I want to detail out some key support and resistance zones. So I see a nice support and resistance zone here. I also see another one right around this area as well. Oh, shoot. This area as well. I see another one right above here, kind of close to where we are at currently on the price charts, right around there. And I'm going to explain this all out to you, okay? So understand that we are at the first key buy zone. So for example, if you had something like $100 you want to invest in Century, I'm just using an easy number to use. I would personally invest around maybe 20% of that $100 here. because we could easily get a bounce off this level because we've had a lot of previous price action. You can see, and if I can draw out my marker here, you can see we've touched this area a few different times on the chart, right? And we're touching it again. And this is a lot of areas where price volume played around and were battled in the past, right? Now, if you're saying to yourself, like, I still think centrifuge is a little expensive, you want to wait for a better price opportunity, you can also come back down here. You can see this is another spot where a lot of price volume action, the bears and bulls were fighting at these levels. So the 26-cent level will be another great place to pick it up at. Now, obviously, you can see obviously back here, I missed this one, but obviously down here, I don't think we're ever really going to get back down here unless something cataclysmic happens in the market and you see Bitcoin fall off the face of the earth, which is always possible, which is why I said if I was to see price come back down to this 26-cent level, I would probably drop at least another 60%, leaving 20% left over if we fell down here. Now, these are arbitrary numbers. You can figure for yourself whatever you want to do. The reason why I'm a little bit heavier on the second leg down is because I don't think we're going to get to this leg down here. Let me just draw that out for you on the chart so you have an idea of what I'm talking about. So I don't think we're going to get down here, even though price has touched these levels previous amount of times. We had a wick there and obviously way back when they migrated, right? So for me, a lot of volume is played in these levels. This is why these are the support and resistance zones for myself. And I'm actually going to bring out an indicator, right? I like to use the volume profile. Mind you, this is all live, okay? Now, volume profile actually details better out where you should be looking to pick up some of these assets at. Oh, let me put my brush away. Sorry, guys. Let me put my brush away. Move the chart over here. And I just want to detail this out for you. So these, I've explained the volume profile and how it works plenty of times before. So the volume profile pretty much dictates the peaks, right, and the valleys over here. Now, the valleys is where price moves pretty freely. And if you look at the chart in those areas between the valleys, you can see how freely price moves, which is why you have those valleys here. Higher volume areas are going to have the peaks up here. So you want to kind of draw your support and resistance zones just below those previous areas of high volume, because technically once you drop below the 25-cent level, there isn't a lot of volume holding up price, which is how you get back down to this 22-cent level, which I don't think we're going to see again. Now, mind you, it's just migrated. So there is potential for it to drop back down because there isn't enough price history to hold the chart up. But I will say historically, and me using this particular indicator over the course of some years now, I can tell you for not for certain, but from my experience, I think 26 cents is a good place to pick it up at if it were to hit that price level. And that's more so where you should be looking at to buy centrifuge if you thought about buying it. But with all of that being said, subscribe to the channel if you made it this far in the video. It really helps the channel grow. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.